You're standing in your kitchen when a bottle suddenly lifts off the counter. On its own, Travis. On its freaking own. And explodes in midair. In 1958, this wasn't a movie. It happened to the Hermann family in Seaford, New York. And police officers watched it happen. What followed became one of the most credible poltergeist cases in American history. And that story might have inspired the movie Poltergeist. But we'll get into that because I have my doubts. All right, let's get into the Hermann family poltergeist. Let's start out with a little background of the old Hermann family. The Hermann family consisted of James and Lucille were the mother and the father. Their two teenage children, Jimmy, 12, and Lucille, 13.
A Lucille Jr.?
That is the first Lucille female junior I've ever heard of. I'm sure it's happened, but all right. The Hermann family were a Catholic family.
They're always Catholic.
Mainly James. He was a devout Catholic.
Like the kind that hits his kids.
He was a well-respected man amongst the community. He was a chemical engineer. In 1958, that's a big deal, I guess. I don't fucking know.
It's a big deal now.
They lived in a modest suburban one-story ranch home on Mount Misery Road in Seaford, Long Island, or New York. It's a part of Long Island, which confuses the shit out of me anyway. It was a quiet middle-class neighborhood. So nothing to see here, just 1958. So other words, all white.
You talking about like how confusing the borough thing gets when you're talking about a New York address?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is annoying.
Now, up to this point of February 3rd, 1958, there had been no strange occurrences, nothing to see here. Everybody was just living life the best you could in 1958 with your beehive hairdos and
your fucking
long dresses or long skirts with poodles on them and shit like that.
Jamming your Frankie Valley and your fucking Bel Air.
Yeah. But, however, like I said, on February 3rd, this all changed. What happened, the initial phenomena is interesting. Things began to happen suddenly. Bottles popping off in numerous households, picking up, exploding, caps being twisted off. It actually found bottles of holy water, bleach, and shampoo containers stored securely would pop off and fly off shelves.
Stroke brain.
No, what it was. Here's
can
what
we
it was.
make a fucking thing where we can make clips of this and it just goes stroke brain?
No, because what it was is this has me frustrated. Who keeps bottles of holy water?
Catholics.
Really, just bottles sitting around on the shelf?
Catholics keep a lot of weird shit.
You never know when you're gonna need some fucking holy water.
Catholics keep a lot of weird shit, especially old Catholics. Like like you can find. I know that like especially old Catholics, like if you are clearing out like your grandmother's house that was devout Catholic, like they'll have like crucifixes that you can like open.
Yeah.
And it'll have like fucking, it could be a bone fragment or a piece of wood or or dirt and shit like that. It's like some religious memento from like a pilgrimage to much how Muslims go to Mecca, like a Catholic going to the Vatican City or one of those big fuck off pre-mega churches.
I mean, I just don't see the use, unless you're having a lot of paranormal or demonic activity, to have some holy water laying around.
I think it's funny that holy water, bleach, and shampoo got grouped together. Three things that are alarmingly similar.
All cleansing.
Old school holy water was basically just bleach mixed with herbal essences, volumizing shampoo.
But they apparently would see the caps with
twist off. That was going to be my next question.
I think like, it said pop off. So I'm assuming like the holy water has to be a cap, but like some of the other stuff, like
holy water, you would
the
hope
bottles would be a cap where it'd have to, you need a
not
bottle.
Like bleach and shit though.
But no, that was just some of it. There were pop bottles, I believe, as well.
Could this be some type of odd weather phenomenon?
That'd be odd. I don't know. We'll kind of cover
some type of like extreme barometric pressure.
Maybe. Possible.
Kind of legitimate question. Out there as fuck, but
the dad does. He does. That's his line of thinking. We'll cover it. He kind of goes with that.
The dad's just like, it was hot. It was a hot summer.
Yeah.
Shit was popping off.
Yeah. Objects began moving across the room. Bookends, statues, and furniture shifted or flew through the air. It's all repetitive, I know.
Also, just don't have bookends and statues. This isn't 1685.
Hey, you need bookends. People
Motherfucker, I guarantee you there's maybe 12 books in this entire house, and most of them are probably in my room.
Probably.
And most of them have pictures. If I'm being honest.
Other witnesses saw these events as well. Police officers, local reporters, and building inspectors all observed these moving by themselves in time.
The building inspector is the kicker. Reporters accentuate shit.
Well,
police officers in the 50s in Long Island were probably a bunch of alcoholic Italian and Irishmen that like to hit their wives.
Over time, the number of bottles that uncapped themselves grew to over 70.
Oh, so we're talking about some rich people. You got 70 plus bottles of anything.
This over time. We're
Oh.
over time. This is over a period of, I don't know exactly how, but I'm assuming weeks.
Got to replace the holy water.
Yeah, things begin to escalate as they normally do. Objects begin to move independently. Statues, blah, blah, blah. We
Stop
talked about
having
that.
statues.
Objects reportedly hovered and were thrown by unseen forces. All activities occurred when both children, Lucille Jr., which just sounds weird, and
Right.
what was
Lucille too.
What was the boy's name? Fuck, I done forgot. Oh,
Jimmy.
So we had James. We had basically Junior.
Sounds like a shitty sitcom. Junior, like sister,
Yeah.
but with Italian kids with abusive parents.
All this activity happened when the kids were home, especially Jimmy. Jimmy seemed to be the focal point.
You went looking for his name, and it's right there, right after the part you were reading.
No, I was looking at his dad's. I wanted his dad's name. Many objects moved in intelligent manners. You know, it wasn't just things popping up and being thrown. They were moved. I would say anytime something unscrews a bottle, that's somewhat intelligent.
Yeah.
That's just being an asshole.
It's like that Harry Potter shit where everything's doing itself around you.
Now, one might ask, how in the fuck does the police see all this? Let me tell you. What?
Roll with me here. It's very theoretical, very out there. What if we might be dealing with a situation where there is a Harry Potter-esque thing going on in this world?
You lost me in Harry Potter.
And there is the Muggle world, as there is in Harry Potter, and then the Wizarding world.
You lost me in Harry Potter.
Have you ever watched any of the Harry Potter movies?
Unfortunately, yes. And
like how there's
those are
shit,
hours in my life I cannot.
like
get
how
back.
there's shit going on in the world that like they're like, oh my word, and then all the wizards are just like, you dumb bitch, like that type.
Very possible. That could be what the paranormal is.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's far fetched as shit, and I'm not saying like literally wizards and witches and shit, but like, what if there is another economy amongst us that we don't know about that just does this shit?
I believe that it goes along with dimensional. I've often said, or I forget, I can't take credit for it, but I believe Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters even has talked about this. What if what you are hearing is just another dimension? The ghost, you think you're interacting with a ghost, but you're interacting with the parallel universes which exist.
Something that's not there, but it's there.
All in the same plane. We just can't see it. They can't see us. But sometimes there is
crossover. There's a bleeding through.
Right. Yeah. I would think it's funny that if at night parallel universe or universe A and universe B are in the same location, they're both ghost hunting.
And there's a time
and they're just hearing each other.
Maybe that's the 3 o'clock thing, the witching hour. Yeah. Maybe that's just a thin veil in the space-time continuum between these realms.
That's possible. I don't know. I mean, that is very possible explanation for paranormal activity.
Or Albus Dumbledore is just being a fucking dick and he's walking around fucking with people.
Now, one might ask, how in the world did the police see all this activity?
Especially in the 50s. 50s New York cops. Whoa, hey, what's going on here? Where's my billy club?
There's an easy answer for that. Shit started going down and they called the police. They called the popo.
It threw the holy water, boss. Oh, whoa. It's moving the black bottle. Shoot it. Not in my neighborhood. No black bottles running around my streets.
They were called repeatedly and had to make several destination trips to this house. Shit.
Like a destination wedding?
The Herman's called again. Fuck. It was probably a joke.
It's just a bunch of Joe Pesci's and cars. These motherfuckers.
Officers on these trips would witness things, heavy bookshelves falling over on their own. One officer watched a bottle levitate 6 inches in the air and crashing down. Hence the thumbnail.
Kind of another off-the-wall theory. Are we sure that this maybe wasn't like a mob area and they're just looking for any excuse to cover up domestic violence?
No, I don't think so. This got way too popular.
Some mob guy's somewhere right now, and he's like, "Motherfucker, we never thought of that.
Yeah.
We should have used the ghostesses. We could have got away with. Hey, come on, gabagool. I should have been a gabagool."
The chief of police was so concerned about this, he opened up an official investigation on what was going on at this house, which is unheard of. Even in today, I would find that strange in today's society, let alone in 1958.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of makes more sense back then to me, just because of the heavier weight of the influence of religion on people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like now people would look at it more scientifically, whereas back then they were like, the devil's in Long Island.
I don't know.
We're gonna need priests this shit.
That's possible, I guess. The case was taken very seriously due to the credibility of the witnesses, being other police on some of their calls experienced stuff. The police investigation into the Hermann family haunting was very, very extensive. This is one reason why this case remains so respected. The reason for this is because other officers saw it who are trained. Police officers are trained observers. That's why I take...
They observe and report.
Even in 1958, I take their word a little bit more credibly when it comes to this or UFOs or anything else. When they see it, their account put more weight in their account than I do Billy Bob, who's been sipping on the moonshine in the back of a truck.
Yeah, my only hang up is the NYPD part of it.
Over the course of a month in the Nassau County Police Department, I became so involved that they stationed officers outside the house. They ran a stakeout on that.
Yeah, it's the fuck good as I get it. Like, I get the thought process, but what are you gonna do?
You have to observe and report.
Yeah, I guess.
And the initial report, the first officer, the report that was made on February 3rd, after the Hermans noticed the holy water bottles exploding in the bathroom, popping open like they were just, those party poppers.
Well, yeah, why the fuck do you have holy water in your bathroom?
It's a healthy shit.
That's what I'm saying. That seems like, what, you had the wrong thing to eat and you just get up and you're like, fucking do the holy water cross on your shit before you flush it?
Now, officers responded to what was initially considered, what we talked about earlier, a domestic disturbance or prank call. However, after multiple calls from the family reporting similar phenomenon, they began to take it more seriously. Detective Joseph Tozzi,
Don't get yourself in a Tozzi.
Became the lead investigator. Additional patrol officers, supervisors, and plainclothes detectives visited the home over various times over the next couple of weeks. Several officers witnessed events themselves. Officers reportedly saw bottles of holy water explode on other occasions, fly across the bathroom, which, once again... I
think it's weird that they're in the bathroom.
Bookshelf, a heavy bookshelf, I should say, plopping over. Because, people did read back in 1950. Me, I just listened to Audible.
You know what I bet you they didn't do? They didn't use that one screw that comes with all furniture that you're supposed to, meh it into the wall with.
Probably. I never did either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's see, what else? Porcelain figurines flew across the room and shattered.
Sorry, I saw that one bullet point, and I thought it said search for hookers when I first looked at it.
Hey.
Go on.
Hookers went flying across the room.
Hookers, maybe it was hookers.
Let's see.
Hookers went flying. You imagine how bad that smell? Just hookers flying, 1958 hookers flying around the room.
Oh. Anyway, where was that? Porcelain figurines flew off, probably of Jesus, since they're a devout Catholic, and they got holy water. I would assume the porcelain figurine was of Jesus.
Or Sinatra.
Good point.
Bing Crosby, not Sammy. We like Sammy outside of the house, but we don't need the neighbors knowing that.
Let's see here. Now, naturally, the officers, they were thinking domestic violence.
Or prank calls.
Or prank calls, correct.
They
also initially, when you first hear this, if you're a serious detective or police officer, you're naturally going to look for hoax. This is a hoax. So they did search for hoaxes, not search for hookers. They did not search for hookers. They searched for hoaxes.
You didn't have to. You just went out after 9 p.m. when everybody was in bed for 2 hours already.
Yeah. Officers searched for the entire house, looking for tripwires, magnets, and hidden mechanisms, which,
fair.
I mean, would be easily not out of the question. It's happened. I think even some of these ghost adventure type shows have found. I think Ghost Hunters actually did find somebody.
Probably. That set up some shit.
Like a laughing voice, that was triggered when a door.
Yeah, I think,
if I remember correctly.
Where I keep getting hung up on the fact that you said they were skeptical of maybe it was domestic violence or prank calls and shit like that.
Yes.
And I still can't get it out of my head. Like, did you imagine how bored you have to be in 1958 to take the time to do prank calls on a rotary phone?
You gotta remember, I'm of the age.
I know, but could you imagine?
No, it wasn't that hard. I'm sure I made.
You know how long
my
it
mother's
takes?
watching, but I'm pretty sure I probably did it.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like just waiting for that 9 to dial them. Nowadays, with the attention span, kids would be like, "Fuck it."
I'm sure I've made a few prank calls in my day.
Can you imagine that? Your friend's number is like area code 999-999-9999. There's no way. It would take you longer to dial the phone number than it would to have the fucking conversation.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, at some point they did station police officers or a patrol car outside the house, and they put officers inside the house staking it out. Now, how would you like that? Suck to have cops. Old James wasn't banging Lucille that night.
It'd be like every other movie where they're just sitting in the kitchen drinking their coffee, but going through their fridge. And what else they got in this place? They got any gabagool.
They wanted, actually, in this investigation, for officers to have a direct line of sight to any kind of possible activity.
These cops were basically like the first paranormal investigators.
Right, just with guns.
A lot of good that'll do you.
Naturally, they interviewed the family. They really focused in on the children because naturally,
kids tell the truth.
Well, because if anybody's going to do some trickery or some fuckery, it's going to be the kids.
But at that level,
Springfield Poltergeist.
I know, but like to set up shit like that,
you never know. Them kids.
That's some MythBusters shit.
Especially in 1958.
That's what I'm saying.
How resourceful were those kids?
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with future Unabombers. If they're pulling that off in the 50s.
Right. Let's see here. No, naturally the cops did not get any confessions out of these two rugrats, Lucille Jr. and Jimmy Jr.
Jr.
JR squared. Nobody confessed to it. The kids weren't acting suspicious. So the cops pretty much kind of figured, all right, maybe these kids are on the up and up.
So it's either the parents or something else. Now,
James Hermann was, like I said earlier, a well-respected man amongst the community. He was described as a straight-laced man. The police did not believe he had any motive or any reason to fake these events.
Yeah, but we've kind of had conversations like this. That straight-laced, respected guy in the community is always the one that's like fucking like hitting prostitutes in the butthole with socket wrenches and shit.
That just means James was a serial killer.
If you're straight-laced in the 50s, you're a serial killer.
Yeah. Officer case files documented over 70 separate incidents from February 3rd to March 10th. Detective Tazi.
70
separate.
And what's that? 35 days?
Yeah.
God damn. Unless it was a leap year, 36.
That was a busy fucking poltergeist. Now, Detective Tazi did the only thing he could do. He concluded that the case and basically said, this is typical poltergeist phenomenon.
How?
Well, you can't. What are they going to do?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, what the fuck? Like, how can I... like, that doesn't it just doesn't make sense to me for a police officer to wrap it up as that.
Well, what are they going to do?
You're a cop.
What are you going to do?
I feel like you would be the laughing stock of the precinct.
They'd be more of a laughing stock if they made an arrest.
So basically this guy's like the fucking Will Ferrell from the other guys of the Long Island police at
Fuck
the
if
time
I know.
with his wooden gun.
Fuck if I know. That's basically what the old Detective Tazi said. Fuck if I know.
The fact that you can do that as a cop is crazy. That you can just be like, I don't know, man. So who killed those 13 high school girls?
Well, like I said, that's a little different than a fucking Casper getting pissy about some holy water.
I mean, just in general, just like, bah.
Which I'm surprised I never, in my research for this, now that I'm thinking about it, with what was going on with the holy water,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't
like the local parish get involved?
Or why is there no talk of demonic?
Yeah.
Because you think if a demon was in the Hermann's.
The only thought process I could have behind that would be I could imagine the holy water probably, very possibly being the easiest container to manipulate. You know what I'm saying? Right. I would imagine that would be the highest chance of not being like a twist on cap or a pressurized cap, but just being like a cork and bottle, potentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Naturally, James Sr., hold on, let me, before I get to that, like we were just making fun of Tazi for, he just said, "Oh, beats the fuck out of me." The final stance of the Nassau County Police was essentially, "We saw it, we can't explain it, but it happened." Case closed.
You use that in court. What were your findings on the investigation? Oh. You just fucking Tim the Toolman Taylor him.
Get the fuck out of me.
Let the record show that the detective has officially entered his plea of.
Okay, what makes this investigation unique? Most hauntings are anecdotal and involve fringe investigators like you and I. I mean, let's be honest. Who's more credible, 1958 police or you and I?
Us.
I'm going to strongly disagree.
If you take the technological differences, us.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you and I could have figured out almost any criminal case pre-1970.
Yeah, we were just West Memphis.
Yeah, I'd just be like, did nobody notice this? This obvious glaring detail that seems to be overlooked in every major criminal case before 1975?
But the fact that this was so well investigated or attempted to investigate by the police.
Investigate's a very loose term.
Of course, let's be honest. Their official response was pretty much the same thing as a paranormal investigator.
Yeah. Sit there overnight.
I don't know.
Sit there overnight until you can go. IDK, bruh.
But credible law enforcement officers basically served as eyewitnesses and said, "I don't know, it happened, fuck it." Police filed detailed professional reports. Unlike paranormal investigators, the case was handled like any other serious disturbance, such as knocking the missus around, and not dismissed as superstition, which this is what kind of perplexes me a little bit. I would think if let's just say I don't have any holy water sitting around the house that I know of.
Go figure.
But I
used my last little bit on that fucking lady that was screaming in the fucking street last week.
Yeah. Say, I don't know, a bottle of bleach just all of a sudden pops up, opens, and starts.
Which I would argue is probably on par with holy water.
If a bottle of bleach just levitated, uncapped itself, and started dumping out on the floor, I think I'm not calling the police. Because you know what's going to happen if I call the police for that? I'm going to be spending the night in jail. They're going to think I'm drunk.
You're going to hit him with the hosier. Take me to church. I was like, I don't even know if that's his song, but
I'm just saying I would not. The cops would be the last one I would call.
Dude, if I witnessed something like that, like legitimately in front of I would just laugh. The fuck, I'd just be like, no fucking way.
If I was a cop and I got called to something like this, I'm not going to laugh. I'm going to go, what the fuck you want me to do about it?
I'm just going to stand there and be like, I hope I'm not offending you, ghost man, but I'm just going to witness this because nobody's going to fucking believe it anyway. Mm-hmm. And also, next time, please choose a different liquid that's not going to bleach my fucking carpet.
Yes. There was an immense media frenzy with this case.
I've never heard of this.
The haunting just...
I have, but like I've never heard of it past the point of like you and I being into this shit and looking for it.
Right. You don't really hear a lot about it. The haunting just didn't rattle a quiet suburban household. It sparked a nationwide media frenzy.
So it was like the Satanic Panic for ghosts.
I would say more like the Amityville Horror.
That wasn't, what was that? Like, that was a while after this.
Yeah, that was what, in the 70s?
Yeah, I was going to say it had to be like 15 years after this.
Let's see. The early coverage. The story broke publicly within days of the initial disturbance. Long Island newspapers like Newsday were first on the scene. Wasn't long before national outlets picked it up. The headlines such as "Pop Bottles Fly in Long Island Home" and "Police Baffled by Poltergeist."
That reads.
So even back in 1958, cops were given a hard time. But all those
because they were all drunk back then.
Yeah, when you got headlines like that, it's going to garner attention. Reporters rushed to the Hermann house, hoping to witness the events themselves, and some did. Several journalists claimed to see bottles move and explode on their own, adding credibility to the haunting.
See, and that's like you talked about earlier. Like theoretically, yeah, all this shit could have been set up in some way. Like it could have been done.
That's true. But here's the thing: there in 1958, there was no ghost adventures or ghost hunters to get any.
I don't think the Warrens were around yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. They didn't come around to the 70s or so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so this was kind of new and improved.
This is still back. I mean, this is kind of right around that time where you were transitioning from what we now know as like the paranormal and looking into it. Like this was still like on the cusp of that, pre that, but kind of post / in between of like when magicians and shit like that were still kind of the forefront of anything paranormal.
Right.
Or what would be considered magicians or mystics back then.
Right.
Gypsy women, shit like that.
At the height of the activity, there were journalists, photographers, and even newsreel cameramen camped outside the house on the front yard.
I mean, what the fuck else you gonna do? It's Long Island in 1958. They're like, oh, we got something.
I mean, almost
ride it till it's dead.
I picture this as, back in what, 69 when we went or didn't, when we did or didn't go to the moon, journalists and camera crews were all camped outside, the homes of.
Yeah, they're just like, we're here with Aaron Glenn's wife. She don't know jack shit, but we're gonna talk to her anyway.
That's what I picture in my head. But so the front lawn of their house was basically a media circus.
Just ask them the same questions over and over again. Have you talked to your? Oh wait, no, never mind. It's still 1969. You fucking can't.
It just wasn't local papers and local TV stations. Major news coverage popped off on this. Life magazine ran a story with photos of the family and home.
Oh.
Time magazine, Look magazine, I guess, I don't know, and the New York Times reported on it. Articles emphasized that police were witnessing the events as well. Radio and television newscasts caught wind of it. The haunting was discussed on coast-to-coast radio shows.
Not coast-to-coast AM.
AM, no, but from coast-to-coast radio shows.
We could do a whole show on Coast to Coast.
Yeah, talk show hosts made light of it, but others treated it with fascination, calling it America's first televised haunting. All right, Walter Cronkite, then a prominent CBS...
You said it wrong. Walter Cronkite.
A prominent CBS journalist. This was before he was the anchor of the CBS Evening News. So before his peak,
Do you have a brush? Walter Cronkite.
Briefly reported on the Hermann case during a news roundup segment in early 1958.
So this shit took off fast.
Yeah, it's only a couple months.
He doesn't say like
30
February,
days?
March of 58, and then
days?
Still in early 58, Walter Cronkite's talking about it.
The case was later dramatized and referenced in early TV mystery programs and documentaries about real hauntings, which apparently that was a thing. Even back in 1958, there was,
How the fuck would we know? My dad would have been 3.
I think my mother would have been 8. Anyway, where was I at? As the news of the news of the haunting spread, the police were under pressure to find a natural cause and explain what happened. They publicly stated that they had no evidence of fraud or any natural explanation.
No shit, it's 1958.
Which was unusual for a law enforcement agency to say. Beats the fuck out of me. I don't know.
I'm still leaning on the time period. There's a lot of shit that went, and they just fucking brushed it under the rug.
Now, James Sr., he was, like I said, straight-laced. He didn't really buy all the paranormal shit. always thought his.
Yeah, he probably didn't believe in it.
But a lot of this was. Okay, this is a poltergeist activity, and this for a refresher course. No, a lot of people think things are poltergeist that not necessarily. When things start moving around, okay, yes.
That's traditional poltergeist activity, which leads me to, how old was the girl?
12 and they were 12 and 13.
Okay, there you go.
But it was centralized around Jimmy Jr., not the girl. And it can be male. Generally, a poltergeist. See, a poltergeist isn't a ghost.
No.
A poltergeist is. This is why the movie Poltergeist was so stupid.
It's like an amalgamation of multiple different aspects of like telekinesis mixed with energy.
It's not a haunting.
Not traditionally, no. I mean, I'm sure that they could be connected. I'm sure that they can kind of like feed off of each other.
The premise of a poltergeist is generally a young, and it's generally associated with females.
Pubescent females.
Is causing the activity.
Yeah.
Telekinetically.
Yeah.
If that's even a word.
Like their brains maturing into something that we can't control but exists in our brains, and it manifests itself through a mixture of hormones in a
charged atmosphere. Yeah. I mean, so, and I hearken back to my last episode of the San Pedro haunting. A lot of people thought that was directed to Hernandez. Is that better? Hernandez. But she was just older.
Mademoiselle Tortilla.
But she was going through a bunch, and maybe her psyche or all the issues she was having caused the shit.
Yeah.
So a poltergeist generally isn't your prototypical haunting. Now, it can be male, too, and they...
Mm-hmm. Or I would argue... You could also, well, I wouldn't say I would argue. You could also make the argument that maybe if you want to go with the traditional manifestation of a poltergeist, it's formulated by the daughter, but affecting the son for multiple reasons.
Maybe it's combined.
Or even like the girl has a sibling rivalry as usual with the brother, and it then is kind of affecting the brother subconsciously and through her.
I don't know the situation. I didn't dive that deep, but in 1958, maybe there was some abuse going on of both children, which
I would say pretty likely.
I would think
in a Catholic home in Long Island in 1958, I would have to say it's pretty likely that there was at least some.
So maybe that was what was charging both children, and it was causing the activity, the poltergeist type activity, because of what the children were going through. But like I said,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Most of the activity seemed to be central around JJ Jr.
That little rascal.
The male, not Lucille Jr.
He's a tomfool. He's a shenaniganizer.
If both kids are being, and like I said,
is that a dog?
I think so. I don't know.
I thought that was one of the crackheads for a second.
This was just me being hypothetical.
Yeah.
Thinking,
no way.
About both. I did not read anything about any kind of abuse, but that would kind of make sense. I'm not accusing James Sr. of.
Yeah, I'm not accusing these parents, because maybe they were perfect parents, but you're just going off
1958.
Yeah,
there were some butt whoopings,
especially even not in the home. Like if they went to a Catholic school in the 50s, it could be happening there. It could just be an overflow. You know what I mean? There's multiple. There's levels to this shit.
I'm just trying to figure out.
1950s hauntings are like ogres and onions. They have layers.
Okay, Shrek. All right,
and they taste like shit.
But James Sr. always kind of thought Jimmy Jr. was kind of up to some shenanigans, because he really didn't buy the paranormal that much. He was more, like I said, straight-laced. He was like, I ain't buying the bullshit. Junior's up to some shit, wanting some attention, because I whooped his ass with a belt last night. He got a little of the buckle on there.
He was probably a little troublemaker then, I would assume. Probably.
But within police investigation, they didn't, they said they did a thorough investigation, but let's be honest, how thorough were they? I mean, did they?
Right.
Yes, they saw some activity. They
I
said
feel like this was the kind of investigation they wrote out with pencil and went back and erased shit when it changed.
Yeah. Now, naturally, as anything goes on for a period of time, there is a backlash, and the media did eventually turn on
devil worshippers.
Some journalists started to suggest that it was a hoax for nothing but attention, despite police testimony. And you'd have to be pretty ballsy to try. If it was a hoax, while you got cops, police officers sitting in the house, in the room, to pull that shit. I mean, that's kind of ballsy. That's Ocean 11 shit.
It's got to be very well put together.
Yes. And in 1958, how good was the technology?
Unless, the 50s, hardcore Catholics.
It's one thing
you just do some weird shit and the cops are just out of there. Hey, Maron!
It's one thing to fake a YouTube video or,
right,
or show.
Or like that old man that had the giant penguin feet.
Yeah.
That walked around a Florida beach for like 30 years. Did you see that shit?
No.
Yeah, he made these like giant penguin prints that he would like strap onto his feet, and he would go out and walk the beach in the middle of the night.
Well,
and for like 20 or 30 years, there legitimately became
that's
this
not
like,
what I'm picturing.
This hoax.
You said strap on. That's not what I'm picturing in my head.
But he legitimately for like 30 years did this, and there was actually like formulated a urban legend of this like giant penguin cryptid creature that would come up on land and hunt and shit like that. And on his deathbed, he was like, "You guys are fucking dumb. I got them in the garage. I don't even hide them. They're next to the paint thinner."
The Hermans never profited from anything with this haunting, which in 1958 you would not.
Because it was a little early to really turn this into a cash cow.
1958 did not have Zach Bagans. And like I said, the Warrens weren't around yet. They weren't searching for demons just yet. In fact, they were more, being a deeply religious family, or especially James Sr., they were actually, I should say he was, and probably the mother as well, was more embarrassed by this. This was an embarrassment to them.
Yeah, especially because they're getting all kinds of
exposure,
like shade thrown at them for what might be going on.
James Hermann begged reporters to leave his family alone and stated publicly, "We're just a normal family. We didn't ask for this."
You're not a normal family. Both your kids are juniors.
Yeah, you named your daughter Lucille after your wife.
That's not normal, dude. That's cult. That's culty.
It is.
We all have the same name here. We all share belongings and buttholes.
Now, the cultural impact of this case, where it ranks in history. Although not directly credited, the Hermann case is widely believed to have inspired parts of the 1982 film Poltergeist. The suburban setting, focus on the children. No, the movie with Craig T. Nelson and the little girl that died.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
No, it's not.
Craig T. Nelson, the funny black guy?
No, Craig T. Nelson coach.
Is that not the same name, though? Is the funny black guy that's in all the movies with like Danny McBride, he's not Craig
I don't know.
Nelson?
I don't know who you speak of.
The guy from This Is the End. Take your panties off. That guy?
I don't know what his name is.
I'm pretty sure it's totally irrelevant, but I think his name's Craig Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson is coach from
Coach?
The 1990s show Coach.
From Coach.
Yeah.
Coach from Coach.
Yeah. And what else was he in? Anyway.
Craig Robinson.
Oh.
That's the funny black dude's name.
Oh, the bigger guy from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes. I mean, let's be honest.
And the Pizza Hut commercials.
How many big funny black guys are there at any given time? Like legitimately in film.
A lot.
That people like actually know.
Anyway.
It was Faison Love for a while. And then I would argue that it was Craig Nelson or Craig Robinson as far as big ones. And now we're getting into the one guy. I don't know his name.
Like I said,
little something.
This has often said they widely believe that it inspired parts of the 1982 film Poltergeist. The suburban setting and focusing on the children as targets of the supernatural energy. But hence the word poltergeist, as we just explained. Poltergeist activity is always focused on the children 99% of the time.
I mean, actually, the San Pedro case that we covered 2 weeks ago,
That's one of the only cases I've ever heard where they thought maybe it was the mother.
Or even something as benign and silly as like Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Didn't we do an episode?
Yeah. Like even that was much more lighthearted and playful, I would say, in a way than this. But even that, like all of these stories has kids.
Right. And that's what the movie Poltergeist.
I just went cross-eyed.
they didn't even know what a poltergeist was. They just used the word poltergeist because it sounds. The whole Indian burial ground.
It just means noisy ghost.
Right. But now it's kind of with science, it's what we just talked about. They think it's more telekinetic.
Yeah.
Manipulation of the environment. It has nothing to do with an Indian burial ground and, an unfinished pool. Right. Fucking Indian bones are going to come up through
the. Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
That's like Pet Cemetery. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was an animal burial ground.
Maybe.
Cujo.
Okay, there was some scientific research done on this. Dr. J.B. Rhine, a leading figure in parapsychology at Duke University, took interest in this case. Rhine's team...
Who fucking they studied parapsychology in the 50s? Holy shit.
And at Duke, of all places.
I thought they just studied how to make tobacco.
Rhine's team believed the activity was genuine poltergeist focused on Jimmy, the 12-year-old boy.
Jimmy!
They theorized that the boy was unknowingly the source of the psychokinetic energy. The common theory is a poltergeist lore. That's what we basically just explained.
Yeah.
Rhine's notes suggest a mind over matter phenomenon, not a traditional haunting. That is basically verbatim what a poltergeist is. Not a haunting. It's basically what's the Chris Angel type shit.
Yeah.
Their mind
sleight of hand.
Yes. But
so Dr. Ryan investigated this poltergeist. So in theory, we're talking about a Rhinegeist.
I just now got that.
I've explained that to so many people. The name of Rhinegeist Brewery. Rhinegeist. It's the ghost of the Rhine. It's located in over the Rhine, Cincinnati. Therefore, it's Rhinegeist, and their logo's a fucking skull.
I don't get it.
Dude, so many people. I'm like, it's like once it clicked in my head, I'm like, it's a fantastically simple name. How have more people not put it together?
Right.
That was a sidebar. Anybody that's listening to this anywhere outside of this area is gonna be like, what the fuck is a Rhinegeist?
Now you know.
Fine purveyors of Cheetah and Truth beers.
Yes.
About 18 others.
The Hermans did not just rely on the police. They, naturally being good Catholics, went to the church and tried to get help from a Catholic priest who did come out and blessed the house.
Even as a non-religious person, I would argue that would even be potentially my first step before I even call the cops.
Now, I don't know exactly what the order was, but like I said, we're going from the third. I'm pretty sure the cops were called first. I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me.
Yeah, I guess that's fair too. You don't automatically go to some haunting. You go to like somebody fucking around with your house or something.
Right. No exorcism was performed naturally. The activity, it kind of degraded a little bit after the priest came and blessed the house.
Like went bad or slowed down?
It actually degraded, it slowed down.
Okay.
And eventually ceased altogether. So obviously the priest came in a little bit later. Some believe the blessing, not the science, resolved the issue. However, this is bullshit. Let's be honest.
You're starting to sound like me.
I'm just, if it is a poltergeist and the children are doing this, it's not a haunting. It's not demonic. I don't give a fuck what a priest does because it's not a spirit. It's the children. Maybe the children didn't get fucking beat on for a week. I don't know. Or touched in a no-no spot.
My automatic thought too with that is the psychosomatic nature of being a young Catholic child and having a priest tell you that this should help.
Okay.
Calming down the uncontrolled telekinetic.
Okay. To calm them.
Unruliness, for lack of a better word.
But people want to say that
No, I don't think that the priest didn't fucking solve it.
No.
He wasn't the cure-all.
If you want to say that the children felt more at peace because of the appearance of a priest, okay, fine. I can.
Yes, I would say he planted the seed of calm.
I can go with that. I'm not going to go with. There's no need for an exit.
You didn't have the
exercise
fucking
that
key.
shit all day.
You didn't have the key to the front door that is this poltergeist.
Aftermath and legacy of this wonderful story. The Hermans moved out shortly after, shaken but unharmed. Jimmy
Not stirred.
Jimmy reportedly lived a normal life with no reoccurrence of any kind of events. Skeptics
until he killed his whole family in 1976.
Skeptics later suggested they'd still play in the hoax card or the hooker card, one of the two, whichever one you want to read.
There's a bunch of just hookers throwing shit.
Or
hookers doing what hookers do, you know?
Or adolescent prank. But the sheer number of witnesses complicates that theory.
And it's just like, for the amount of people that saw this shit, like, if this was the kids fucking around, this would have to be so well thought out.
Right.
That it's implausible. Not excuse me, I'm not going to say impossible, but highly improbable that these kids are pulling this shit off.
Yeah.
Especially in the 50s.
Right. But the Herman
actually in the 50s might make it more plausible that they could pull it off because they actually had imaginations.
Right. But basically the Herman case or this haunting became the benchmark for credible hauntings or the gold standard for
I guess at the time that's fair.
Right.
Without knowing all that we claim to know now about poltergeists versus hauntings versus this versus that.
But it's often stated as one of the most credible American poltergeist investigations or hauntings, period.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
I'll secede to that, I guess.
Now the Hermann Family Haunting just didn't fade to
black.
Yeah, it left fingerprints all over American pop culture.
It fingered pop culture.
Fingered the shit out of her, influencing how hauntings were depicted in film, which I can buy that portion of it the poltergeist reference. Serves as a template for many child-centered poltergeist stories in popular culture. So
most of them are.
This springboarded maybe things like the Ingfield, whatever.
That house in Indiana.
Yes.
Which was supposedly demonic, but that was fucking with the kids there.
This was, as far as I know, one of the first times mainstream big national newspapers and TV anchors like Cronkite covered a haunting without dismissing it outright as nonsense.
It got all the meh guys off their ass. I'm here with Jimmy Jr. He's gonna talk about the ghostesses. Tell us here, Jimmy.
Now, I always love critics. Basically, critics say all events could have been staged by the children. True, but like I said, that's hard for children to pull off for a month and a half and no cop catching on.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. The psychokinesis theory lacks scientific support. No fucking shit. Thank you, Captain.
The theoretical science doesn't have any scientific support.
Yeah. Police may have been misled by... No, they could not over a
they
period
were in
of
the fucking house.
35 days. Yes. Once or twice, maybe. But over 35 days of...
And when you're spending the night in the house... and seeing the shit, I can't, even I'm not going to chalk that up to cleverly timed pranks.
Yeah, I mean, like all the events, some of these events occurred while cops were there staking it out, just sitting there, basically being ghost hunters.
If these kids pulled any of this shit off themselves at the time, there is absolutely no way that one or both of them wasn't millionaires in movie and television production in their adult life. If they were able to pull this shit off, they would definitely be like the highest grossing fucking special effects management, whatever the fuck, in the world at the time.
Yeah. Now,
if they were doing this at 12.
Yeah. I mean, these kids were sneaky as fuck, if that's the case.
They would be cinematic special effects artists for sure. They would have been making Jurassic Park in 1975.
This would have been more plausible if the cops saw it the first night. Oh, this is some serious shit.
And then never saw it again.
And then they staked it out and nothing happened because I got some big balls. But
AC/DC?
I'm not going to try it 2-3 nights in a row.
I'll do it.
Try to...
Once I see it.
Trick the cops.
Yeah.
As a child.
Without doing the same thing over and over again.
Right. So, I mean... But it was not...
The only that's my other... That because even then, even if they were doing it, realistically, it would kind of fall apart anyway, because like I just said, it would kind of be like a haunted house.
Right.
Where you can walk through a haunted house twice and you're going to expect the shit the second time. Because for the most part, it's not going to change. The same fucking picture is going to jump out at you and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's going to be recycled content.
Right. I'm going to lean towards, I don't know if poltergeist activity is, I don't want to say real or is plausible. If it's a thing, it's a nice theory. It makes a little bit of sense.
And if nothing, it's a nice scapegoat too, depending on the situation.
Let me ask you a question. What's more plausible, a poltergeist as we have defined it, or an actual intelligent haunting? A ghost?
On paper, a poltergeist.
I kind of think, because I do believe.
Because on paper, a poltergeist can be connected to an actual physical being that has a lack of control or understanding over something that is within their psyche, that we are still going back and forth scientifically on whether or not it could be real anyway.
I mean, what's more plausible, that or the existence of ghosts?
An otherworldly being.
Or being ghost.
Yeah.
Or even if you want to travel down the wormhole of
demons,
or demons, or like we talked about earlier, the parallel universe, the thinning, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as much as I want to believe in an afterlife and ghosts and everything, the poltergeist version of a highly charged individual affecting the environment around them,
it's scientifically more plausible
than an actual spirit world.
Yeah.
Or a ghost, an actual haunting ghost.
Yeah.
I think but it's an interesting thought experiment, which is more plausible. I don't know. They're both kind of out there, but to me,
turn it down out there, you fucking kids.
To me, a poltergeist activity might be more plausible than.
It's because there's theoretical science behind it. To an extent.
To an extent.
Whereas ghosts and shit, there's not really. There is, but it's very fringe theoretical science.
But that's all I got. That's all I got for this. But I do not.
It was those goddamn kids. They would have got away with it too.
It wasn't for those meddling
it wasn't for those meddling cops and their stupid dog.
All right. I'm hungry. You got to pee.
There's a poltergeist about to knock some shit over.
I'm done. All right. Take care, everybody.